I was on a webinar recently and I got asked the question, Steve, if there's so much capital in the marketplace right now, why is it so hard to raise money for private companies? So that is such a good question that I thought, you know, it's actually worth doing a video on. So the best way to answer that is that right now, us as private companies, we have competition that we really didn't have before. And when you think about it, you know, you're sitting there thinking, okay, was that mean you're talking about new companies coming into the ecosystem? You're talking about, you know, different opportunities coming, etc. Yes, there's that, right? There's obviously always going to be new founders coming in. And look, we educate a lot to say that for every one investor, they're likely having conversations between 15 to 30 other companies at the same time, right? So we're very well aware that we're not the only ones that they're dancing with, right? So understand that as a first step. But the big things that have happened in the last 12 to 15 months, and as I said, the markets move very, very quickly. And this could change in the next 3 to 6 months. You just don't know, right? But if you go back to when COVID kicked off, right, everyone was very aware, right, judging from going back to the reference from the GFC, was that there was only going to be a limited amount of time that capital was going to be in the ecosystem, so everyone needed to go and raise. And firstly, what you saw is you saw listed companies. Listed companies started doing massive amounts of placements at mass. Right, so the ASX become one of the largest places for accessing capital on the planet in the first few months of COVID. And every single day you're seeing brokers putting out announcements about new placements, new placements, new placements, new placements. Right, now understand that a lot of the private high net worths and investment groups that do fund private companies also invest into small caps as well. It was one of the correlations that we discovered early on that we actually never knew about, but that investor that likes private companies is also very enthusiastic about small caps, right? So the other thing that transpired, not only was there massive amounts of placements at that time, but then what happened was in the last sort of 12 months, we have seen the biggest growth of what we've ever seen in the small caps, where the valuations of some of these small caps have gone up 5 and 10x. Now, what's interesting is, as a private company, what we're doing our best to do is achieve 5x to 10x for our investors. Here we're investors getting these returns in the space of 12 months. That is competition for capital for us as private companies. Right, so do understand that. So the money where investors were punting into, or passively investing into private companies, they could now actively invest into small cap listed companies, and they could sell at any one time, right? So that was a fundamental thing that's happening. Now the other one, which no one's really talking about as competition, but absolutely is, if you go speak to any of your high net worth contacts, you'll typically find that they are investing into cryptocurrency. Right, so it's amazing how many, especially in this bull run, you know, a lot of people got awareness in the last bull run, right? And some even in the first one where they become fans, but especially in that last bull run, the people that held and saw that sort of bull run, and then they started to understand that Bitcoin, the cycle of Bitcoin and halving, and then what it would mean to crypto. All of a sudden, many high net worths were investing into cryptocurrencies, probably something that they, last 3 years ago, they swore off that they would ever look to go into this space, right? But they are. So you please understand as founders is that our competition is not just other founders that we're competing with for capital, right? But also we're competing with small cap listed companies that have achieved incredible results, and also cryptocurrencies as well that are doing 5x, 10x, some are doing 100x. Right? So this is all competition for us as capital founders. So now the question you might be thinking to yourself is, well, if that's the case, what can I do about it? Well, one of the things that we've observed and we educate on over and over again is that investors right now tend to want to be more active and strategic with their opportunities. Right? So they're looking for opportunities that they can actually sink their knowledge, their expertise, and add value to in a greater way than just capital. Because if it's just capital, they can get those sort of returns in other places. Right? So you're actually fulfilling another part of their desires about what they actually want to be involved in. Right? So focus on how you can attract, and so we talk about in other videos, we talk about capital raising brand and all that sort of stuff, but really what we're looking at from us as a platform promotional perspective and everything we try and do with companies, how we can attract people or groups that are relevant, that are strategically or actively relevant to the types of businesses. Now, the reality is you only need one. The ego in us always wants 100, 200, 50, whatever it may be. But we only ever need one of that right person to change the entire trajectory of our business. So that is really what you want to focus on. And also, the biggest thing I'll say to everyone is that, if you look at the 3 stages of buying decision, you've got awareness, consideration, and then decision. Everyone in capital raising wants to go straight from awareness to decision. Right? My biggest suggestion to everyone is focus on the awareness part. Work incredibly hard on the awareness part, whether it be through us like a platform, whether it's through media, startup media, industry media, getting on different podcasts that are relevant to your area. Build the awareness about yourself. Absolutely be aggressive in focusing on the awareness and also putting out announcements and so forth about what you're up to. That is the only way to stay in that sort of top of mind awareness with people. But build that awareness funnel. As I said, the more awareness you can build for the funnel, the easier it makes it down the back end. And now it's never easy, but it makes it that slight bit easier for you rather than just going from one conversation to one conversation to one conversation, etc. Okay, so I hope those tips help for this session. I hope it sort of gives a bit more insight as to why there's additional challenges for every company that's raising capital at the moment. Now, also, once again, going back 12 months ago, we absolutely made this clear to everyone that 12 months from now, everyone is going to be raising capital. And it's proven that. I said there's so many opportunities for investors to invest in the moment. All it means for us is we all have to work harder. If you believe in yourself, back yourself, and are willing to do what it takes, then just put in that extra effort and focus on building that awareness part, and then focus on your own process for raising money to move towards the outcome. Hope that's helpful.